Are the Watchers being released? Could the fallen angels, the Watchers, be released in our lifetime? The Book of Enoch contains a chilling prophecy buried in a chapter most people have never read. Enoch 10:12 says, "Bind them for 70 generations under the valleys of the earth, until the day of their judgment." It's one of the most cryptic warnings in all of ancient literature, that a group of rebellious angels who corrupted mankind would be imprisoned, and then released after 70 generations. Some believe that timeline has already ended. Some believe we are living in the days of their release. But what does the Book of Enoch actually say, and how do we even measure 70 generations? Today, we are going to dig deeper than ever before to uncover the origin of this prophecy, what it meant in Enoch's time, and what it could mean for ours. And once you see how this fits together, it may change the way you see the spiritual world forever. What the Book of Enoch actually says. Let's begin with the text itself. In 1 Enoch 10, God speaks to the archangels, specifically Raphael, about what must be done to the leaders of the rebellion, the Watchers, the angels who came to earth and sinned. Here's what it says, Enoch 10, 4-6. Condensed, bind Azazel hand and foot and cast him into the darkness. Make an opening in the desert and cover him with rough and jagged rocks, and let him stay there forever until the day of the great judgment. But then, speaking of the rest, the other fallen Watchers, God says this, Enoch 10:12. Bind them for 70 generations under the valleys of the earth until the day of their judgment and of their consummation. That line is crucial. It's not talking about forever. It's talking about a temporary imprisonment with an expiration. They were to be bound in the earth, waiting for the time of judgment to begin. But that raises a massive question. What exactly is a generation? What is a generation? The Bible does not give a fixed length of time for a generation. It depends heavily on context. Let's look at some of the most common estimates. 1. Genesis 15:13-16. Your descendants will be enslaved for 400 years, and in the 4th generation they shall return. Here, for generations equals 400 years, 100 years per generation. That's a starting point. 2. Psalm 90:10. The days of our lives are 70 years, and if by reason of strength they are 80 years. That puts a generation closer to 70 to 80 years, the average human lifespan. 3. Matthew 1. Genealogy of Jesus. If you average out the spans between generations in the genealogies, they often come out closer to 50 to 70 years, especially the earlier ones. So if we take Enoch's 70 generations and apply one of these numbers, 70 times 70 years equals 4,900 years. Starting point, approximately 3000 BC, that's the traditional flood era. Endpoint, approximately 1900 to 2000 AD. The other theories use 100 years per generation, putting the endpoint now or very soon. Could this be more than coincidence? Could the 70 generations be ending in our lifetime? Who were the Watchers and why were they bound? Let's pause and go back, for the sake of those just joining us, and clarify who the Watchers were and why this prophecy even exists. The Book of Enoch begins with a supernatural rebellion. In 1 Enoch 6, a group of 200 angels called the Watchers descend to Mount Hermon in the days of Jared. They take human wives, have hybrid offspring known as the Nephilim, and corrupt the earth with bloodshed and forbidden knowledge. First, Enoch 8 says they taught sorcery, astrology, the use of roots and herbs, weapons of war, enchantments, cosmetic manipulation, and how to manipulate nature. This knowledge was real, but it was not meant for mankind. God sends the archangels, Raphael, Gabriel, Uriel, and Michael, to pronounce judgment. The plan was this, and the Nephilim are to destroy each other in battle. Their spirits, now disembodied, will become evil spirits on the earth. See Enoch 15:8-10. But the Watchers, they are to be imprisoned beneath the earth in chains for 70 generations. Jude and Peter confirm it. A brief reinforcement. The New Testament writers knew this story. Jude 6. And the angels who did not keep their proper domain, he has reserved in everlasting chains under darkness for the judgment of the great day. 2 Peter 2:4. God did not spare the angels who sinned, but cast them down to hell, aka Tartarus, and delivered them into chains of darkness. These passages only make full sense when you understand Enoch. What if they're being released now? So what happens after 70 generations? The Book of Enoch is not explicit. It says until the day of judgment, but the assumption is they are unbound first to face that judgment. Which leads us to Revelation 9. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven, and to him was given the key to the bottomless pit. Revelation 9:1. The abyss is opened, and something comes out. And out of the smoke came locusts upon the earth, and they had as king over them the angel of the abyss. Could this be the release of the same imprisoned watchers? Could the bottomless pit be the same underworld where they were bound? Here's where it gets sobering. In the last century, since the early 1900s, we have seen an explosion in occultism, technological power, genetic manipulation, the revival of forbidden knowledge, AI, pharmakia, and transhumanism. We are watching the same types of corruption return to Earth. What if this is not random? What if we are witnessing the release of that ancient influence? Spiritual forces once chained, now unbound. What should we do? The Book of Enoch is not just a record of judgment. It is a call to walk with God, like Enoch did, in a world filled with deception. The more you understand the supernatural conflict that began before the flood, the more sense our world starts to make. We are not just watching history unfold. We are watching prophecy activate. The 70 generations were never just a countdown. They were a warning. Conclusion. So, now that you know what the Book of Enoch actually says, what will you do with it? The release of the Watchers may not come with headlines. It may not come with fire from the sky, at least not yet, but you will know them by their fruits, by the return of ancient evils, by the rise of spiritual deception, and by the darkness masquerading as light. And that is why, like Enoch, we must walk with God now more than ever, even if the world around us is falling apart. Because judgment is not only coming, it is already unfolding. If this video opened your eyes to what's really happening behind the scenes, make sure you subscribe, because next, we are going deeper. Did Jesus come in the 77th generation? Debunking the calendar confusion. Or click here to go back and watch the Watchers video, the one that started it all. Either way, keep seeking, keep watching, and most of all, walk with God.